All right, 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, I know you're late. Yeah.
Blazing on the track,
Baby,
boy.
you know how it goes. It gets lonely in this bed alone. Pull up.
Welcome back, Powerheads, to episode 6. We got back off the hiatus. Here I am, it's your boy G-Mohney and your boy E. Everly, also known as Krabby Patty, also known as Bay Seasoning. All right, so you got Famous and Kanan on the Van Wyck Expressway. They're out there promoting. They got the showcase coming up, and they're busy trying to get busy with it. They're looking up and down the street, and Kanan seems to be noticing something. Seems to be noticing a lot of traffic around that area. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that's pretty key. It's tied into some people. So next thing you know, Detective Howard is playing stalker. He's popping up like Jason on his doctor. So why is he popping up on her?
So he kind of went to his doctor with this quote unquote hypothetical. If I had a son, would I be able to, get my son to be my bone marrow donor? And what she said was that your son's going to be a half donor match. So it's still not ideal, but it's better than nothing. But the biggest thing that she said, which to me was kind of the integral piece of the entire situation, is that typically they wanted donors who were 18 or up. But if the donor was under 18, they needed whoever the guardian, whoever the parental guardian was, they needed that person's consent. And he knows he's not going to be able to get that consent.
We'll see where that goes, especially when there's life and death involved. But it is kind of funny how he just adds water and he's got instant sun at the doctor's office. So I'm sure she's like, what? Where's this son popping up from? Genetics don't work like that. All right, so there we got Lou and Jess. They're getting that little lovey-dovey on a little bit, but Lou is trying to handle his business. He's all up in the club trying to get the showcase ready. And Jess, she tells him, you're the money man. You're in control. And it's your favorite girl from the show. Ain't it, E? You trust her like nobody else.
Man, I don't trust anybody farther than I can throw him. But what I will say, though, is that Rock came in and Rock shut all that down, at least as far as, making Lou, feel as though he was so independent. Rock was like, you make money because of me.
Your money's my money.
Your money's my money, and I'm going to go out there and make more money for you to spend. Because she's like, if I don't make the money for this family, nobody has money. And you're out here spending and blowing all this on a showcase.
But then, Lou's like, look, one thing, we're not going to have any traffic up in here. And of course, Rock is getting pissed about that. But then again, she puts a little condition on there for her. What kind of condition we talking about here?
If she can't traffic, nobody can traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, okay, I'll make sure that happens.
There you go. So he's off on a mission, and he rolls up in Unique's crib, who's waxing off philosophical, smoking on a stogie, back in that Dapper Dan's crib and stuff. And so he's giving him a little hard time with it. And then he goes, you got a steady head on you. You need to go ahead and get that to your sister because the streets are getting hot out here. So a little veiled threat going on there, huh?
First of all, first things first, I can't stand fake philosophicals. He was like, look, sorry, you are a drug dealer at the end of the day. You weren't even quoting things properly, but no big deal. No big deal. We'll let you have it. If you're trying to end the war or at least put a little bit of a truce to it for any amount of time, because at the end of the day, nobody wins in that war. Nobody's going to win in that war. Everybody's going to take casualties. You go with it, right? We see later why he didn't go with it, but I think, you should go with it and respect the fact that he came to you man to man and told you that's not what's going down. Even Rock is backing off. So everybody's backing off.
He's showing that chutzpah. Like he was saying the Jewish people.
I don't know, man. I lived in Israel for 10 months. I had never heard that word. So I don't know if you quoted something again incorrect. But
Jewish stuff, huh?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I lived there for 10 months. Never heard chutzpah.
So then we got Kanan sitting in the chair in the kitchen getting his shape up. I'm surprised that Rock didn't put the bowl on top of his head. Give him a little Johnny Mop action. Basically, man, she's just drilling him. She's drilling him. She's like, okay, I know your uncles didn't come get you. So who got you? She puts the thumb screws to him. How long did that last?
It didn't last long at all. First thing we know, Kanan and my posture strainer they can hold water about the same amount. He gave Symphony up real quick. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, that was quick.
You can smell what the Rock is cooking, so something's about to happen with that in a little bit. After that, man, we got the Zuma Dean situation. Zuma Dean is pretty dry in the hood, you know. That's their main supplier, and you know he's not getting up off anything, so she has to go to the bingo hall. And he mentions that her treachery was beyond the pale, and mentions that Smurf would agree, but Smurf is not here. You know what I mean? So obviously he figured out who tipped Rock off to the shipment that brought down all the heat and everything. So he's like, "You're shut off," and then he just turns around and says, "Hey, Grandma won!" We're done here.
Yeah, he wasn't playing around, you know. He was like, look, at the end of the day, I know how you found out. I won't do business with you anymore. And on top of it, Neek offered me 20% on top to take your cut too. It's a win-win for me.
Yeah, so she had to get out of there because nothing good was going to happen there anymore. She's on a mission now. So she's like, we got to get new suppliers. You know, she tells Lou he's got to go hit Greasy. Tells Marvin he's got to go hit Prime. Prime sound familiar to you? He's got some type of connection to 50 in real life back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, we got them outside connections going on there, so that's pretty deep. And then she goes to the last little connection, and that's the bodega spot. And, you know, she's got some old girl, Gabrielle's wife's got some new bruises. And so she's like, you know, I need to speak to your cousin. Obviously, the next supply chain. And she's like, I can't do that, Gabriel, blah, blah, blah. I see, you remember that little phrase that Rock hit him off with? The only time we moved our lips is when, you know, a man had something to say with it. We'd just be sitting around with a dick in the mouth.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
So I was like, okay, good. All right, so next thing you know, it's like she's winning an old girl over. She's, you know, she's starting to like Rock. And I think that's a good situation because Gabriel's got to go, man. That dude has got to go.
Well, I mean, he's got to go for multiple reasons. One, he's too loud and aggressive in the bodega, and he's going to get the whole operation shut down. Now he's beating on his wife. You know, imagine the cops come in. Now they start, you know, investigating the entire area. Like, you know, it just bringing too much heat.
Not a good look.
I don't see the Gabriel character lasting for too much longer.
But he's like Sykes. I'm like, how does he last? He's still here.
Sykes was not a dude who was housing a drug warehouse. Sykes was a dirty DA, okay? So he could last a little bit longer because it takes a lot of heat to kill a DA. It don't take a lot of heat to kill a loudmouth, domestically violent bodega owner.
So now we're on to your boy Kanan's walking up with Marvin, and he's like got an idea for him. He's talking about that Van Wyck Expressway, and where did he get that idea from? Symphony, because Symphony was telling them all about the structural stuff and the bypasses and everything, and how like all the white folks just pile up at the gas station at the Van Wyck Expressway. More clientele, we could charge those white folks prices. And then, you know, Marvin was like, well, wait a minute, they like that powder. He was like, man, they always trying to be hood.
He's like, they're always trying to be hood. Let's put them onto that crack game because, you know, they can't get that pure powder. They can't get it in enough quantity to sell it to them white boys. So, yeah, he's like, put them onto the crack. They want to be down with the culture. This is culture.
Not the best culture. But
not the best culture at all.
All right, so meanwhile, everybody's warming up now for the showcase. All right, we got Kanan. You got his little Boys the Men outfit on. You know, growing up, not too hard, not too soft. But anyway, Mom throws a tie on that, which makes it even worse. But then she's all dialed up because she's got some business to handle because she talked to the housing supervisor a little earlier. So she rolls out to go ahead and talk to the housing supervisor. She's made an agreement to meet with him all alone, you know, and she gives him the little, you know, sympathetic, you know, it's just me. I'm a single mom raising her son, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, victim. So they go up there and they have a little powwow. And immediately he starts like reaching for her leg, and she smacks him away, and she's like, "Oh, this is about the money." So how does Mr. Housing Authority take that?
First of all, he told her flat out right away, this is not about the money. This is about what I say. I mean, he put his hands around her throat. You know, I'm very surprised. Let me be honest with you. I'm very surprised Rock didn't come with any other type of weapon. I mean, because as we saw in that scenario, had she not found that sledgehammer, I don't know what happened to Rock. I don't know what she was getting out of that. That was a big dude, like for her to deal with it, you know? That was a big dude. And, you know, I'm glad she did find it. But had she not found that sledgehammer, the whole evening could have gone a different direction.
But you know, Rock, man, she was going to find her way out of that. She was probably going to make her way to the purse and shit like that. You know, she was going to get out of that.
I hope so, but she hit him with that sledgehammer and then made that phone call.
And Marvis goes up and she's like, make a meal out of him and make sure he feels it on the way out.
I think the best part of the entire episode was Marvin talking to him while he was packing him into the wall. It was hilarious because he was talking to him, and there was a point where he said, you know what? I mean, you gonna see. Nah, actually, you're not gonna see.
You're not gonna see.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, he was venting to him the entire time before he put two nails from the nail gun in his head.
Now, to me, this is another genius move on Marvin's part. He's going to be stinking to high hell shortly.
So I was going to call it a piss poor decision. I was going to say you're actually supposed to wrap him in a couple plastic bags that are very tied off.
That ain't going to do it. He got to put lye on him or something, man, because that's just not going to handle it. Now, at first I looked at it, right, and I saw the pink around him, and then I had to watch it for a second and third time because I thought maybe it was some of that, like, foam, chemical foam that they shoot out. Like, but it's not. It was just regular old fiberglass.
Yeah, regular insulation foam. That's what I was like, you gotta wrap them, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do a lot of things, like tie it off. Cause like you said, he gonna stink to high hell very quickly.
And then how's that gonna work? Because that's not gonna just stay in those two apartments. So it's gonna be problems. So they're gonna have to be dealing with that later. So meanwhile, we're up in the showcase. We finally made it. You know, Juke, Nicole, everybody's up in there. Your boy Crown is on full alert. Not at all. He actually shows us the ingredients and how to make a Woody. Now, for those out there who don't know, Woody is basically you roll a blunt, but you sprinkle some crack over top of it. And some people think you can smoke like regular cocaine, you know, that way you can't. So it has to be crack. But the good thing about Woody's, if you have to do a Woody, I suggest you don't. If you have to do a Woody, it's kind of cut with the herb a little bit. It's not like smoking a whole rock. You know what I mean?
So
nah, I don't know what you mean. I'm just gonna be real with you. I have no clue. You just put me on to something that one, I'll never try, but two, wow, intricate knowledge.
So he's just sprinkling. He holds the crack rock up in the vial. It's like going through his little steps, and he offers it to. First he goes with Jess, and Jess declines it, and then he says, "Go ahead, Nicole, to go ahead and do it." Now, there's one or two ways you can look at this. And one way is that she's saying, okay, just go ahead and explore your youth, and I got your back. And then the other way is probably the way you thinking. It's like, oh, she's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking Jess is terrible. I think, you know, Jess protected her from the dude from Brooklyn, you know, with the red suit and the chains on. So to me, if she's protective over her, I feel like she should have protected her from that as well and not expose her to that. You know, I was a little disappointed in that. I thought, you know, you're going to protect her from that, you know, from the guy from Brooklyn. You need to protect her from this. Shouldn't need to be, I mean, not that anybody needs to be smoking crack, but definitely not, you know, this little girl.
And the wild thing is, though, man, your boy had probably the best line, best come on line, which was still a horrible come on line, but it was the best come on line. He's like, "Hey, white girl, man, you can make some little pretty Lisa Bonet babies."
And then was like wildly aggressively grabbing at her wrist to pull her up. Like, I mean, I don't know. You know, I shot my shot in a lot of clubs. I'm gonna let you know something right now. One, I've never grabbed somebody's wrist like that. Two, I don't see that being successful. You know, I mean, maybe it's different times, you know, I don't know. I didn't shoot my shot in the 80s, but from the time I started, grabbing a woman's wrist like that whether you know them or not, never is a good idea.
Never a good idea. So yeah, he was tripping out there for sure. And I'm surprised that he didn't really get housed by the end of the episode anyway. So before everything really gets started down below, Rock is just like, okay, I just got out of this, putting this dude in the wall, thanks to Marvin. Let me get a drink. And somebody creeps up from behind to buy her drink, but he doesn't really know.
Symphony. Symphony showed up and he has no clue what happened. And Rock dropped him for that. It kind of goes back to what she said to her detective baby daddy's partner, because that's at this point what it is. But, she said nobody comes between a mother and a son. And, not that I agree with her breaking up with him for that. I don't agree with it at all because of the fact that, he did that to earn Kanan's trust. I'm not gonna snitch. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna snitch. That's your son. That's an extension of you at the end of the day. Like, if Symphony told Rock, Kanan would have had a problem. It would have never trusted Symphony ever again. He was really in a lose-lose situation. And it's kind of messed up that Kanan put him in that situation.
Yeah, that's rough. He had no way to turn. I really think, that was a bad move on her part. She was hot. Hopefully she'll calm down a little bit. But Rock doesn't seem like somebody who's gonna, turn around and change her pathway or whatnot. But maybe Symphony can do something to win her over. Who knows? Because the dude was a positive role model, for Kanan and stuff. Yeah, and he's already teaching him stuff. It's rap. Oh, yeah, for sure. And by the way, news alert, a lot of people already know this, but Forrest rapped like last week. So Forrest is about ready to come down.
Power Book 3 Season 2 is coming out as well. And Symphony is still a character in Power Book 3 Season 2.
Ah, good. Well, he's Breeze, right?
I didn't know that.
That's a way out theory. Whenever you have way out theories, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm throwing that out there because basically, he's teaching, he's doing all these things that are right and, non in the drug game, but he sure is attracted to Rock, who he already knows is in the drug game. And then he's like basically planning out the entire family's drug strategy. He's like, you need to get up high in the high rises so you can see everything before it comes to you. So then she's all got the upwards or downwards, and she's turning everything into to the Carter. And then next thing you know, it's like Kanan is like, oh yeah, we got to go with the expressway because that's where all the white folks are. You know what I mean? So he's like doing a lot of.
I don't know if I can go as far as saying that the Symphony is Breeze, but I don't know if I'm gonna reach that far. I know I got long arms, but I don't know if I can still reach that far. That's quite a little bit of a stretch. But what I do know is that Power Book 3 was renewed for a second season. I know he is in Power Book 3 Season 2.
Well, maybe Symphony is Ghost's brother or his dad.
Or maybe there's other influences that keep Symphony around. i.e. he might be working for someone.
Oh.
I don't think that his character is there just to be Rock's love interest. To me, his character needs to serve a greater purpose other than Rock's love interest. And so to me, I think that's going to lead to him either working for someone or, some other crazy plot twist that we can see coming down the line. But I know he's not just a love interest.
There you go. So we on to the showcase. Finally, it's the big moment for Famous. But what's going on with Juke?
Man, Juke was shook. We're gonna go with one name. Juke was shook. She was throwing up. She was scared. She was nervous. It's not easy, especially when you're young. I can remember a time when I was playing basketball back in AAU. We get to the national championship game, and we haven't lost a game all AAU season. And now we're in the national championship game. That's a lot of pressure because you are one game between finishing out an entire AAU season and setting a record for never having lost a game or blowing it all in 40 minutes. And that's a lot of pressure to be had. And I don't blame her, but to lock herself in the bathroom, a little much, in my opinion.
Not the best move. Your boy hits her up with the Coney Island story. Taking it back to Coney Island.
Coney Island, Juke had to sing to get him back home.
Yeah, because he lost all his money in 3-card money, and she called him a mark. And then so he was like, and you remember how she was like, remember how I got you out of the bathroom? I was crying like this.
He put on a little fake tears just to reminisce for a little bit and, get her back comfortable again. And, he's like, look, this ain't the first bathroom I had to coax you out of.
And then what makes it even better, man, is that, they're back tight again. You know what I mean? So that was huge right there. All right, so she comes out, and that's what? Whose turn is it to get stage fright now?
Famous got stage fright real quick.
Deer in the headlights.
Oh my God, yeah. He was running like roaches when you turn the lights on. I mean, it was crazy. Juke cut the beat, took it over, and got it started so that at the point, Famous could feel the crowd a little bit so that he could get himself going because he was not ready. Yeah, he wasn't ready. It was a crazy turn of events seeing her going from throwing up and locking herself in the bathroom, thinking she was scared to go down stage, to Famous being the confident one talking about, you're going to ruin this for me, to him being the one that clammed up.
But finally, he got it. He started putting it down a little bit. And do you see Kanan's face while he was spitting? His face was all twisted up. You know why? Because one of the lines was like, fuck 4 quarters and 2 dimes. That's $1.20, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, and if you plan to rob the stash house, you better know the layout. And so basically, this is all everyone else's life. He didn't pull the trigger.
Well, that's why the narrative from 50 was, he was talking about, it's a lot of dudes out here that rap about things they've never experienced. And like you said, rapped about $1.20 and then rapped about the stash house. So you're right. Kanan was like, wait, what? Wait, you rapping about a bunch of stuff you never experienced, stuff that everybody else been through. But that's because Famous ain't been through nothing. Famous isn't really in the game like that.
So here's my prediction. He's going to be basically blackballed from dry snitching on raps and stuff, and people are going to not give him any more material. And so he's not going to last too long, maybe.
Famous is not going to be famous for too much longer because, like you said, nobody's going to give him any more information. Like, he's going to run out of stuff to rap about. And the stuff he's going to start rapping about is going to start to become unrealistic. Because right now, he's got realistic, stories that he can rap about. And that's going to change if he doesn't have that info.
So meanwhile, the crowd is live. The whole house is burning. And next thing you know, who's breaking in the back door? It's your boy, right-hand man, I call him. Kind of like Han, right-hand man. And because it's Unique's right-hand man and Scrappy, they've been told that they're going to be like firing the joint up. And Scrappy's like, wait a minute, who we going to go ahead and hit? And he tells him Lou. And then he just is like shook. So it's already in right-hand man's head that, okay, this boy don't want to do this. But then he hangs back from him. And then Lou looks over the corner and he sees the right-hand man up in there, but then he sees Scrappy. And right then you know that Scrappy is really on the real because he goes, give him a little high sign, like something smells. And that's when Lou starts to fight with the Brooklyn Bammers. And so it's like all Bama war. And so they shut it down. So that was just the smartest move that they could do. Then they get out of there, and all of a sudden, it's like, I like to say Moments in Love, but it wasn't Moments in Love. It was PM Dawn, because Art of Noise did Moments in Love. But it was Moments in Love because they had these little segues, man. They had Kanan and Davita, he goes past her house, and he hits it for the first time. She going for the condom. We got Jess and Lou, your favorites. And, they're in the limo and whatnot. And one good thing I like about that, man, like when he was up in there, and, he just caressed her leg, and she hiked it up and put it around her behind his butt. I was like, she responds very well. And I don't know if she got that at home. All right, so then we got our third crew, and that's Nicole and Juke, slobbing it down on the bus and whatnot. So, things are looking pretty good at this point.
Am I the only person that the first time they watched it until you saw the next scene when the white girl went into the bathroom with Famous? Because I was like, she had been smoking crack. I'm like, who knows? When I first saw the scene, because Famous was flirting with her in the beginning, and Juke shut that down. But then I'm like, well, Nicole's been smoking crack. Like, who knows, like, what state she's actually in? So I was like, oh, no.
I think that's another one of them cases where you mistaking white folks for Puerto Ricans and shit.
Nah.
So your boy, he gets his moment in love too, but this is like his first little groupie experience, and it's like he lost his mind, literally, all over the place. So here we go. So it looks like everything is on the mend, everything is looking good, but then cap. Well, actually, it was only one cap, and who's on the front stoop?
Happy. Because they knew, regardless of whether, Neek's right-hand man saw him tip Lou off or not, the basis was, for whatever reason, if Lou get tipped off, they're not going to trust him anymore. And he was like, yeah, we knew you was just rock snitch whole time. Yeah. I'm like,
and he was behind, when Lou got the message. He was way pushed the back when he was like, Lou, you know what I mean? So yeah, they put it all together, and so meanwhile Scrappy's looking like Scrapple, and he's sitting up there looking kind of beat up, messed up, and it looks like we know where the bullet went.
I didn't see that, but what I did see is I saw Kanan sneaking into the house. Kanan was sneaking back in.
But when the bullet hit him, blood was coming down this way from his head, so he got shot in the head.
Oh yeah, he's dead. I mean, there was.
I don't know yet. I swear to God, he moved a little bit. Number one. Number two, if this was reality back in the day, 911 is a joke. It was a rap. But for the sake of the story, he moved a little bit. And if you think about it, man, think about 50's situation, right? He got shot in the jaw, which broke his jaw, but the bullet bounced around his head like 4 or 5 times inside the skull without causing any damage.
Per the story 50 tells.
Well, no, I've heard of that happening before. And the thing is, the good thing that we can kind of like focus on a little bit, there wasn't any brain matter or skull out there. So at least that means that everything wasn't just totally removed. So maybe Scrappy's going to come back.
Let me ask you a question. I work in the medical field, right? And I know you do as well. As much blood was on him and on that pavement, if he makes it, it was a lot.
I lost that much 2 weeks ago when I ruptured my sutures. Actually, I lost more than that.
You had modern medical technology. you did not have a bullet wound.
And it wasn't up here.
Surgery, and it was not in your head. No. And you'd been beaten to death. You'd been beaten half to death already. So you're already leaking. Even if he's moving, I mean, let's just be real. He's gonna be a vegetable. He can be, with us, but not really with us.
He may make it. He may make it, but he ain't gonna be the same again.
No.
They're gonna call
him a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Yeah. He'll be scrappy.
Scrunchy.
There you go. All right, man. So we're looking forward to next week. It's about that war. They're about to go down with it, man. And so there's no holds barred at this point. They're about to really get in, and a lot of stuff is going down. Any predictions for next week?
It's going to be war, but I think it's going to be a little bit more strategic in that it's an attempt to get Neek out the game because she needs a supply back. And she needs an easy way of getting her supply back, because if she can take Neek out the game, she's going to get it back because the supply has to go somewhere.
Yeah, man. And then we got Marvin, so he's going ahead and taking off on Kanan's idea, but they're going to keep it on a low. And he's telling Kanan, if I tell her, then we both dead. And it's like,
how long can he run that without supply chain issues? I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, no, but remember, they got the 3 supply chains, and one of the supply chains is Prime, and Prime was his hit. So Prime was the dude that he talked to.
Yeah, but people gonna start talking, because unless he's gonna just keep all that money for himself and potentially ruin the relationship with his entire family and organization. I mean, what's he gonna do? He's got to bring that money in, and eventually Rock is gonna be like, well, where are you getting this from? Where is this money funneling in from? Because this does not seem like corner money.
There you go. Well, my prediction for next episode and for the whole rest of the year and probably the next 6 seasons is that we never see Lou fight again. Jerry's Kids is not just the name of a charity. Signing off, your boy G-Mohney, your boy E. Every, sprinkle. And your boy Dill. Dill, come on out, man. We got that pan set cooking on the stove for you, bro. Come on out, man.
I haven't eaten in weeks. Please send help.
I love it.
There you go, man.
I love it.
See y'all next week. Peace.
You know,
Don't worry about YouTube, man, because I already said the D word. So
I was refraining from saying the N word on YouTube.
and it was not Dylan.
Okay.